Have you ever stopped to watch ants? Really watch them? Those tiny creatures crawling across your sidewalk carry secrets that could change your entire life. While you were rushing to your next meeting, stressing about your goals, or wondering why success feels so difficult, ants have been quietly mastering the art of achievement for over 100 million years. Here's what will blow your mind. A single ant can lift 50 times its own body weight. But that's not the amazing part. The amazing part is that when ants work together, they can move objects 5,000 times heavier than themselves. They build cities underground that would make human architects weep with envy. They farm their own food. They have medicine cabinets. They solve traffic problems better than any city planner. And they do all of this without a single meeting, PowerPoint presentation, or motivational poster. Today, we're going to dive deep into the hidden wisdom of these incredible creatures. Because what you're about to discover isn't just about ants. It's about you. It's about the principles that separate those who dream from those who achieve. It's about why some people seem to effortlessly build successful lives, while others struggle despite having all the advantages. The ancient wise man Solomon once wrote, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise." He wasn't just talking about working hard. He was pointing to something much deeper, something that could transform how you approach every challenge in your life. The first lesson, the power of relentless preparation. Let me tell you about Sarah, a friend of mine who couldn't understand why her career felt stuck. She was talented, educated, had great ideas. But somehow, opportunities kept passing her by. Then one summer day, she watched ants in her garden. Really watched them. It was the middle of July, blazing hot, and these ants were working like their lives depended on it, carrying food back to their nest, trip after trip after trip. Sarah thought they were crazy. Why work so hard when food was everywhere? But then winter came, and while Sarah was scrambling to update her resume after an unexpected layoff, she remembered those ants. They weren't just working. They were preparing. Here's the thing about ants that most people don't know. During summer, a single ant colony can store enough food to last 8 months. 8 months. They work when the working is good, not when they have to. They prepare when preparation is possible, not when it's desperate. Scientists have studied this behavior for decades. They've found that ants have an internal clock that tells them exactly how much time they have before conditions change. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for someone to tell them what to do. They prepare because preparation is what separates survival from success. Now think about your life. How many times have you been caught unprepared? How many opportunities have you missed because you didn't see them coming? How many times have you said, "If only I had started earlier"? The ant's first lesson is this. Success belongs to those who prepare in private for opportunities that have not arrived yet. While others are waiting for the right moment, winners are creating it. While others are looking for shortcuts, achievers are building foundations. While others are making excuses, champions are making progress. Sarah learned this lesson the hard way, but she learned it. After that layoff, she spent 6 months building skills while looking for work. She took online courses, she networked, she prepared for interviews for jobs that didn't even exist yet. When the right opportunity finally came, she wasn't just ready. She was the most prepared person they had ever interviewed. The ant doesn't prepare because it feels like it. It prepares because preparation is the price of progress. The second lesson, the magic of invisible teamwork. Here's something that will change how you think about success forever. When you see ants carrying food, you're not seeing individual achievement. You're seeing a masterpiece of collaboration that puts most human teams to shame. Every ant you see is connected to thousands of others through an invisible network of communication. They leave chemical trails called pheromones. When one ant finds food, it leaves a trail back to the nest. Other ants follow this trail. If they also find food, they make the trail stronger. If the food runs out, they stop reinforcing the trail and it fades away. No meetings, no arguments, no office politics, just pure, efficient teamwork. But here's where it gets incredible. When ants encounter an obstacle, they don't compete to be the hero who solves it. They don't waste time arguing about the best approach. They don't worry about who gets credit. They form a living bridge. Literally. Some ants will lock their legs together and become a bridge so other ants can cross. Those bridge ants don't get to carry food. They don't get recognition. They might be there for hours, just being a bridge. But they do it because they understand something most humans never learn. Individual success is impossible without collective progress. I want you to think about Marcus. Marcus was a software developer who thought success meant outperforming everyone around him. He hoarded information. He took credit for team wins. He saw every colleague as competition. For years, his career barely moved. He couldn't understand why less talented people kept getting promoted while he stayed stuck. Then Marcus started studying ant colonies. He learned that in ant societies, there are no individual superstars. There are only ants who make the colony stronger. The most successful ants aren't the ones who carry the most food. They're the ones who help other ants carry more food. This blew Marcus's mind. He started sharing knowledge with his teammates. He began looking for ways to make others successful. He celebrated other people's wins like they were his own. Within 2 years, Marcus had been promoted twice. Not because he worked harder, but because he worked smarter. Not because he was more talented, but because he made everyone around him more talented. The ant's second lesson is this. Your success is not separate from the success of others. It's connected to it. The most successful people understand that lifting others up doesn't bring you down. It lifts you higher than you could ever climb alone. When you make others better, you become better. When you solve problems for your team, you become invaluable to your team. When you think like an ant, you realize that the biggest achievements come from the smallest acts of service. The third lesson, the discipline of systems over feelings. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a lazy ant? Have you ever seen an ant having a motivation crisis? Have you ever seen an ant scrolling through social media instead of working? Of course not. But why? Are ants just naturally more disciplined than humans? Here's the truth that changes everything. Ants don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Every ant colony operates on what scientists call distributed intelligence. No single ant knows the master plan, but every ant follows simple rules that create extraordinary results. Rule 1. If you're not carrying food and you find food, pick it up. Rule 2. Follow the strongest scent trail. Rule 3. If the path is blocked, find another way. Rule 4. Always return to help the colony. That's it. 4 simple rules. No complicated strategies, no motivational speeches, no vision boards. Just systems that work every single time. Let me tell you about Jennifer. Jennifer was a writer who struggled with consistency. Some days she'd write for hours. Other days she'd write nothing. She'd wait for inspiration. She'd wait for the perfect mood. She'd wait for the right moment. And while she waited, her dreams stayed dreams. Then Jennifer learned about ant systems. She realized that ants don't wait for the perfect weather to work. They don't wait to feel motivated. They work because working is what ants do. So Jennifer created her own ant system. Rule 1. Write for 30 minutes every morning no matter what. Rule 2. If stuck on one project, switch to another. Rule 3. If the writing is terrible, keep writing anyway. Rule 4. Always end by knowing what comes next. Within 1 year, Jennifer had finished 3 books, not because she became more motivated, because she stopped relying on motivation. She built systems that worked whether she felt like it or not. Here's what scientists have discovered about ant behavior. Individual ants make mistakes all the time. They take wrong turns, they drop food. They get confused. But the system corrects for individual failures. When one ant makes a mistake, the colony adjusts. The system is stronger than any individual weakness. Dr. Sarah Brosnan, a researcher who has studied ant behavior for over 20 years, made an incredible discovery. Ant colonies with the highest survival rates aren't the ones with the strongest individual ants. They're the ones where ants most consistently put the colony's needs above their own needs. The ants that thrive are the ones that serve. This challenges everything we think we know about getting ahead. We're told to look out for number one. We're told to put ourselves first. We're told that nice guys finish last. But ants prove the opposite. The ants that serve the most become the most valuable. The ants that give the most receive the most protection. The ants that sacrifice for others create the strongest communities. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa was a manager who couldn't understand why her team constantly struggled. Deadlines were missed. Quality was poor. Morale was terrible. Lisa tried everything: more meetings, stricter rules, performance reviews. Nothing worked. Then Lisa started observing ant colonies in her backyard. She noticed something fascinating. The most productive ants weren't the ones being managed. They were the ones doing the managing. But not the way Lisa understood management. These ants weren't giving orders. They were serving others. They were finding resources for other ants. They were solving problems for other ants. They were making it easier for other ants to succeed. Lisa completely changed her approach. Instead of asking, "What do I need from my team?" she started asking, "What does my team need from me?" Instead of focusing on what others could do for her success, she focused on what she could do for their success. She started removing obstacles for her team members. She started celebrating their wins more than her own. She started measuring her success by their success. Within 6 months, her team's performance doubled. Not because she demanded more from them, because she gave more to them. The ant's fifth lesson is this: the highest form of success is making others successful. When you serve others, you don't lose power. You gain influence. When you lift others up, you don't get pulled down. You get lifted higher. When you make others better, you don't become less valuable. You become irreplaceable. The integration, becoming like the ant. Now let's put this all together, because understanding these lessons is not enough. You have to live them. When you prepare like an ant, you're never caught off guard. You're always ready for the next opportunity because you saw it coming and prepared for it. When you collaborate like an ant, you multiply your impact. You achieve things that seemed impossible because you're not trying to do them alone. When you build systems like an ant, you become unstoppable. Your success doesn't depend on how you feel on any given day. When you think long-term like an ant, you make decisions that pay off for years. You build something lasting instead of something flashy. When you serve like an ant, you create value that can't be replaced. You become the kind of person others want to work with, learn from, and follow. Here's the truth that changes everything. Ants are not successful by accident. They're successful by design. Every behavior has been refined over millions of years. Every system has been tested in the real world. Every principle has proven itself in the hardest laboratory of all, survival. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, choose one ant principle and live it. Maybe it's preparation. Start building skills for opportunities that don't exist yet. Maybe it's collaboration. Look for ways to make others more successful. Maybe it's systems. Stop relying on motivation and start relying on consistent action. Maybe it's patience. Commit to long-term growth instead of quick fixes. Maybe it's service. Focus on what you can give instead of what you can get. Pick one. Just one. And for 30 days, live like an ant lives. Work like an ant works. Think like an ant thinks. I guarantee you'll be amazed by what happens. Not because ants are magical, because these principles are powerful. They've been working for 100 million years. They'll work for you too. The next time you see ants, don't just walk by. Stop. Watch. Learn. Remember that those tiny creatures hold secrets that could transform your life. If you found value in this message, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and tell me which ant principle resonates most with you. And subscribe for more insights that could change how you think about success. Because the world needs more people who understand what ants have always known: that the smallest actions, done consistently, create the greatest results. That individual success and collective success are not enemies. They're partners. That true achievement is not about being better than others. It's about making everyone better. Go to the ant, consider its ways, and become wise. Your future self will thank you.